Are Indian men indeed not interested in marriage anymore? And what is the impact of the Western culture on the ability of people and willingness of people to get married? Let's find out together. Let's get into it.
He's snoring at the time of sleep. I need to get divorced.
They think that they lose freedom.
I think it's challenging to find the right person.
I think a marriage is supposed to be for a lifetime. This generation wants something extra.
Nowadays, it's hard to find true love.
Marriages are seen as a life milestone in the life of every Indian. But according to a recent report by the National Statistics Office's Youth in India, 23% of young Indians aren't interested in marriage anymore. This made us wonder, are marriages just becoming outdated?
People who lives in cities are losing interest in marriage. Yeah, people who migrated from villages to cities, so they got so much exposure and they know more about what is love, what is marriage, and what is that, and they are not believing in marriage.
I think anyone get married nowadays. Fuck around, have fun. Nowadays we can see a relationship hardly works over 3 months or 4 months. And if you got married to a girl or a boy or anything, then you get divorced. So I don't think that's gonna work. This generation wants something extra. Yeah, that's the main reason.
You might see tier 2, tier 3 cities, still marriages are ongoing and stuff. But tier 1 cities, people are reluctant to get married because of such a huge responsibility and the commitment they want to put. But still, marriage is not outdated unless and until you don't want to get married.
People think marriages are going to be easy work. I don't think it'll be easy work, right? I think it requires a lot of responsibility on both partners' front, right? It's work at the end of the day. You have to put in that work. That requires a little bit of selflessness, right? It requires more unconditional sort of love, which I think dogs are great at, but humans are not. So that requires you to kind of adjust to the other person's needs and wants while they do the same for you, right?
No, I don't think so. Just people are not able to find the right match. That's why I feel there are less marriages right now. Less successful marriages right now. But everybody wants to get married.
In India, hitting your mid-20s means one thing, shaadi ka pressure. Families and relatives immediately bombard young people with marriage discussions. Studies also show that 72% of Indian men feel pressured to marry by age 30, driven largely by families. So we ask people if they feel pressure to marry and how they deal with it.
Yeah, I think it happens. I have a lot of friends who are like above 30 years old right now, and all their parents and their family members, they keep asking them like, why don't you get married? Like, we'll, help you find the right person. And they're struggling with using all of those dating apps to find the right person. And I can see that they're under pressure, and partly because of like families asking this question, partly because them seeing their friends get married and raise families, and they want to do that, right? But it's not easy, as I said. So yeah, I think there's definitely a pressure. And sometimes people end up rushing into marriage, right? Like with the wrong person.
I've seen my school friends getting married and getting divorced. And they got married because of the societal pressure only. They did not have a say in it. And even if they had a say, they wanted to get married. And it did not work out because, again, arranged marriage and the society will choose, family will choose the person for you. And it is possible in love marriages also. Because out of pressure, if you'll do anything, I don't think it's going to last.
I think it's challenging to find the right person. In the age of, swiping right on a mobile phone, it's become really complicated to find the person who is right for you. Yes, people are marrying late, partly because of that too, in my opinion.
For many millennials and Gen Z, marriage feels less like a dream and more like a responsibility. Terms like sacrifice and compromise are often associated with it. Why do you think people feel scared to get married nowadays?
They date for a long time, but they don't get committed to each other in terms of marriage. It's because they think that it's a very big task, to get completely into the family mode. They think that they lose freedom if they get committed into a marriage, because marriage is such a thing where you get committed in front of people.
I think responsibilities do increase. I think because you have to think about two people, so you become a unit. So some days you want to just go like, hang out with your friends, like your male friends, and watch a sports game. Maybe you have to sideline that and spend time with your partner, and that's okay. I think it's a choice you make at the end of the day, right? So I do think like responsibilities do increase as you get into that family sort of life. Like if you get challenges you to become a better version of yourself, in my opinion. A lot of times we are very fluid and flexible as guys, like we could do whatever we want to, very spontaneous. Sometimes I think marriages would challenge you to become more intentional in what you want to do together, I think.
Before marriage, you are only responsible for yourself. You are looking for the things which you need to do for yourself. After marriage, you have a family. You need to take for that person also.
When I'm financially stable, then I'll proceed for that step. Until and unless, I'll just make sure that she's good for it. That's all.
India is known to have the lowest divorce rates globally, but over the past 2 decades, divorce rates have risen by 50 to 60%. This begs the question, are traditional marriages built for modern challenges?
See, everyone wants freedom, and I think people think marriage ties you down. It brings you a lot of responsibilities than what you really signed up for, right? Like, or maybe you don't anticipate that you would be good, you know, taking up certain responsibilities in a marriage, like whether it's financial or like, you know, not just thinking about yourself. You have to be a little selfless, you know, when you're married to someone. So not everyone's, I think, ready to sign up for that.
People are free now and they want to do what they feel like doing. Before, it was more like a social pressure, and divorce was a taboo. It's not a taboo anymore. So when people don't feel comfortable, they just go for it, and there is no social pressure.
If that love is forced into you, okay, I don't have any other option, I have to live with that guy, I have to live with her, then something little like minor things goes wrong, you can't able to think other than getting divorced also. There are so many cases I saw, like he's snoring at the time of sleep, I need to get divorced. He's not sexually active, I need to see other men. If you love a person like completely, if he does little thing wrong, so people who love each other will try to fix it.
Let's say before, even if you wanted to take a divorce, it was it would be very hard, right? Because people would they would think that once you're married, it's done, dude. That's it. Now there is no looking back. The other person can get away with anything. You can't, because people are always like, what will people think? What will the society think? And all that. Now people are more outspoken and more bold, I feel, right? If they don't want to be in a marriage, they don't feel it's right, I think they have the voice to get out of it. I think that's good.
Despite the rise in divorce rates and the mounting pressures that marriages bring in, they still hold a special place in Indian society. But for the younger generation, the question is, at what cost? Do you think marriages are a necessity?
I think many of the people, they think it's a huge responsibility and stuff. So, but it's on their choice whether they take it or not. If they want to continue their bloodline, they can continue. But marriage is something that I think you can understand each other for a longer period of time. And I think marriage is not something a big thing to get afraid of or something. I mean, it's, if you want to get committed, either ways you want to have someone at the end of the day to talk to or something, just get married rather than just going dating or something.
Life is easier when you have someone. When you have someone to share things with and live moments with. So you can have pets and adopted kids, but still having someone with the same mentality and facing same problems, going through same things. So having a companion for all of that is the thing I would want.
As a generation, I think we want to pursue our dreams first and then try to figure out to settle down, versus I think 30-40 years it was in our parents' generation was like settle down and then, you know, you figure out your dreams. So yeah, the cultural context of marriage is shifting a little bit.
25% of young couples now prefer live-in relationships over marriage. What do you think about these alternatives to marriage?
I don't think there's a better alternative right now, because marriage is like a war between a boy and a girl.
People found most of the alternate to marriage, but legally there is no alternatives.
See, living together is something, so see, I'll just tell you in the corporate term. It's like you just go to a company, you just work for 6 months, then you leave the company, move to another city. So it's the same thing.
Live-in is also a good option, but I feel the sense of security will not be there. Marriage, just tying the knot and doing that event and function will just give you that security that this person is not going anywhere and this person is mine. So that sense of security is more important, and that comes with the marriage.
A really close friend of mine, he lives in New York, and so he's really happy living with himself, with his dog. When he used to see someone, he was very happy living with her, but I don't think he believes in the institution of marriage as far as I remember. And I think he's 37, 38 right now, really content and happy with his life, because I think he knows what he wants. And as I said, at the end of the day, marriage or no marriage, I think it matters to what you really believe in and what you want to do. I mean, society would always tell you get married and, you know, be happy. But if that's not what makes you happy, I don't think you're going to keep anyone happy in a marriage either, right? So do something which you enjoy.
Well. So is the West really influencing how you guys perceive the marriage? I think this is a really beautiful video. And I can tell you that from a Slovak perspective, the marriage was perhaps viewed exactly like you guys have, like traditionally, like it's for life. You kind of got married quite early. I think in the older days it was out of necessity. So like if you were a farmer, you needed to get married so you can have a lot of children to help you with your stuff. And then still, like, people would get married in their kind of early 20s. And certainly I think still even till nowadays there is a societal pressure to get married over here. I guess it's way greater in India. But relationships are not what it used to be, right? We are exposed to the West and to the freedom and to the individualism. And exactly as the guys were saying, like, first you want to live your dreams, then you want to be financially stable. I think in men it's particularly more than anything. I think that there like two conditions need to be met. They need to be financially stable, and kind of like there has to be that click that they want to get married. And then they say that actually they marry the not even the best girl for them, but the best girl that's around them at that time, which is an interesting theory. I'd love to know what you think, but this is what the dating coaches in the West tend to say. And I would love to know what you guys thought about like the divorce rate increasing, and especially I think that was maybe more of a tier one city type of a video, but the tier one city is about living that city life of the West, for what I'm observing, at least from this video. And when you're in London, I think men start to think about settling down around the age of 40. Up until then is like the guy in the video had mentioned, like, go and have fun. And from my personal perspective, I don't think that people should get married earlier than the age of 30. I think that the age of 30 is quite a significant milestone where a lot of things shift and change. And also, like your brain only stops forming at the age of 25. So it's quite of a journey. I think in your 20s, you're really, really living out of your ego. I would say even in your early 30s, and then things suddenly start slowly shifting and changing, and you realize the importance. I guess if you're certain that you want to have children, I think it's always better to do it earlier than later. But from what I've been observing, like the rhetorics is very much similar to the one in the West. And divorce rate is really high. I think everywhere. People actually in the West don't really even want to have children. It's more like a burden. I think that nowadays the way that the society has evolved, at least in the West, is that I think in India you actually have a lot of support. Like you have these extended families, and you can get your kids to be looked after other people, and that's kind of how it used to be here as well. But not anymore. So everything is super expensive. The kindergartens are super expensive. I even have a friend whose dad had passed away, and his mom is still alive, and they have a kid. And he goes like, basically, his grandma, she just wants to live her best life, and she doesn't really want to, take care of the baby. So they have to look for other arrangements, as in like take care of the baby when two of them can't. So it definitely perhaps might be gearing to that in a couple of years for you guys as well. And that is with the reason individualism. And I think that's kind of the mantra of the Western society. It's all about you. And as the guys were saying in the video, it's when it's two of you, you have to sacrifice. And the guy was talking about that. And I don't believe that love, human love, is unconditional. I personally don't believe. I think it's always conditional. Like, you do this for me, I do this for you. This is why I love you, type of a situation. It's not like you just being there with me this is why I love you. I don't think I don't know. I don't see it. I see people when they get into marriage, they're excited about certain qualities because it makes them better. And to me, a relationship should be about bringing out the best in each other. That I feel like should be ultimate goal, and being a teamwork. And obviously the issues will arise because we don't always, I always say like how crazy we think that we believe things are going to work out when you take two individuals who don't know who they are, plus they're constantly changing, and make it make sense and make it work, right? Like I feel like the relationship is the toughest job you can have. I'm sure it can be rewarding and great. When the lady was saying to, it's nice to have that you have someone. However, for example, in the West, not too sure this is how it is in India. I don't see marriage even as a security option. So, for example, if I would be in a relationship, I know I have to look after myself. Like, no matter, let's say, if I would marry a super rich guy, I would not care. I still have it at the back of my head that I have to look after myself, because you just never know what happens in life. And it's not just because you're gonna get a divorce, it's because shit happens in life. The guy can die, the guy can get paralyzed, you're finding yourself in a whole different situation that you have to deal with. Like crazy things can happen in life. So this is why it's so important to, when looking into marriage, to find the right person. Now I know that you guys have a lot of arranged marriages, and I guess people from at least these videos, they were talking more about like a love marriage, but sometimes the love marriage is 10 times harder than perhaps arranged marriage, because you have to accept things, I guess, as they are, and then you have to work it out, and that's it. And that's up to you how you want to live your life, right? But if you want to be the right person, I think like you have to work on being the right person yourself. Everyone wants to find the right person, but I wonder if all of us are working on being the right person. Because when we work on ourselves, then we attract from that reality, and we attract the best people in our lives. I actually don't know that many people around me that got divorced. And like people in the West can also have really lovely, beautiful marriages. And it's just about respecting each other. I think that the number one thing in a relationship is about respect. Then once you have the respect, then to me, that's my hierarchy. First is respect, and then is love. Because I think that people are a bit naive about love. They're trying to, I don't know, Indian movies, but in the West, there's the whole area of like a prince type of like situations and all that kind of stuff. And what the relationship to me really is it comes down to day-to-day logistics. Like you have to be a strong team, and you have to respect one another, and then cherish the moments together. If these, like the day-to-day does not work, it will not work, because as the guy was saying, like if they snoring, for example, for me, there will be a problem. I cannot sleep with someone who snores in the same bed, because honestly, I need to function the next day. And if let's say I have someone that snores next to me, I just will be a wreck. I will not be able to go to work, to do the job. I don't know. I'm mentally, I couldn't do it. So obviously these things can be solved by two separate bedrooms, or like there are other arrangements, like no surgery, what have you. But ultimately, I think that the reality is perhaps for you guys also shifting towards the one in the West. And I wonder if my assumption is correct, because you're getting more and more influenced by the Western culture and what people want, etc. The social pressure, it's I guess in India fact. I know that it's here, but I think that in time, since a lot of things happen, people get divorced, people are not happy, is what it is. And I think that the worst thing, and I've been told by someone in India that yes, we have a low divorce rate, but people are miserable in their marriages. And that's, can you imagine, you have so much negativity all over the country, then your vibration on a spiritual level, you're vibrating so low. I don't know if it's a good thing at the end of the day, but I would love to know what you guys thought of this. Like, are men, especially in tier one cities, delaying getting married, and is that becoming, you're observing, to be a problem? In the comments below. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video with me. If you did enjoy, please give a thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to get a notification. And I will see you next one. Until then, please do take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.